Hello guys, how are you doing? It's your homeboy Gee. I hope everybody's doing great. I hope everybody's fine. New video today, and this is really something that I'm going to address specifically to foreigner coming in the Philippines. I know the title was a little bit alarming, but actually it's based on my experience. In this video, I want to tackle something that really makes Filipino famous around the world, especially in front of foreigner. You know, whenever you're reading an article about Philippines, there are people, you will always see somewhere where it mentioned that Filipino are very warm. They know how to welcome the foreigner. You know, they are very kind toward the foreigner, and probably toward their peers too, but definitely toward the foreigner, they are very warm. And one of the reasons behind that is the culture of what they call here Hiya. I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing it properly, but Hiya here, it's basically what is behind the attitude of Filipino, usually toward foreigner, and maybe toward Filipino too, but I'm foreigner now, so I'm speaking on the standpoint of a foreigner. So what's the Hiya culture here? It's just like a non-confrontational approach, if you can say it like that, in the sense that if two people are talking, I will really try to do all effort possible to get my message across without putting the person in front of me uncomfortable or maybe ashamed, right? And sometimes if I have a feeling that whatever I'm going to tell him and share with him will make him feel uncomfortable, I'll probably not tell it directly to him, but I'll try to find a way, like an indirect way. Let's say, for example, a friend or someone else that can get the message across. Because I don't want him to be uncomfortable, and I don't want to be uncomfortable telling him what I have to tell him, despite that it's truth, despite that he have to hear it. And that's also why Filipinos sometimes when they're facing foreigner always see that they are very warm, very kind. Even sometimes when foreigner mess up, they still keep their smile. And one of the reasons behind that is that Hiya culture, where they don't really want to, they avoid this situation where you guys have to confront each other, or the confrontational situation where you guys will probably eventually get uncomfortable or one person will be ashamed. But the down part of it, and that was one of my main challenge here when I arrived in the Philippines. So, and this is also why on the video, on the title of my video, I say it was one of my first or worst enemy back 12 years ago when I arrived in the Philippines. The downside of it is that sometimes there is things that you really have to hear. There are some things that people should really tell you, and sometimes they will prefer swallow it rather than telling that to you, especially in the workplace. Well, when I say workplace here, even during my college year when I was still varsity, there are a lot of times that there are situations that was happening. My coach didn't really want to tell it to me directly, despite that he was my coach. He didn't really want to tell it directly to me. He'll probably go through my assistant coach or my team captain to let me know something. This is, for example, one situation where the confrontational part, where something that's going to be uncomfortable to you, they are not going to probably throw it in your face like that. And that has been sometimes a challenge for foreigner, because when you're coming from different culture, especially Western part, even Africa, where people are usually ready for confrontation, not in the sense where it's necessarily fight, but more on, if I need to tell you something, I'm going to tell it to you and hope that you will be the one to figure out how to manage the information that I've given to you, right? You'll be the one manage the approach on how to, handle the information. But me, if I have an information that should be given to you, I'm going to give you that information. And that's usually how some Western part of the world and African behave when they are having a conversation. When you come to the Philippines and you tend to say things directly, or how it should be said, depending on the area where you're coming from, it might sometimes be, sounds like you are a little bit aggressive, or you're trying to escalate a situation. right? And it's also a bit like, not vice versa, but in the sense where if someone should tell you something, and I'm not going to say they are not courageous enough, because this is something that is linked to a culture, right? And they don't say that to you directly, but they'll probably find another way to give the message across to you. You might feel like, you know, maybe they're gossiping, maybe they're just, I don't know, saying things on your back. Maybe they are not just courageous enough to tell you things straight in your face. But I think it's just a cultural approach here. Most of the fight that I sometimes see foreigner into here in the Philippines, it may sometimes come to lack of communication of that Hiya culture on the foreigner ends, right? Because something is happening, you look at the person and say, why did you do that? Why, you know, or this should be done like this, or this should be done like that. The person getting that feedback feel like it's too straightforward, and at that moment he probably want to say something to you too, or give a response, but due to the Hiya culture, he will have a hard time to communicate with you directly, right? And you keep on sending him words. Definitely, if he doesn't have a tool to answer you based on your culture, he's going to be on the very defensive end and eventually be aggressive, because you will feel like it's an attack, right? Because usually on their own culture here, when you want to give a comment, or you want to have a conversation that can be, you know, a bit difficult, you need to find the right approach. And the right approach here is definitely not a confrontational approach, but more on going through someone, finding another, maybe third party who's going to jump in, maybe a common friend, right? And again, in some other culture, it might look like gossiping, talking behind somebody, not being able to say something in front. But I think knowing that coming here in the Philippines will really help you in a lot of situations, and will definitely help you to understand that the fact that things are not saying in front of you straight do not mean that things are done against you or behind your back. It's just a cultural approach. Even in the workplace, this is very common, that things are happening, you're involved on it, they want to give you a feedback, they will probably think twice before saying to you straight in front of your face, but rather they will go through some people and let the message arrive to you. So once you know that, you start taking things differently, or information differently once information are sent to you. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. I think if you are new in the Philippines and you're coming from Africa or some western part of the globe, don't be shocked if there are things that are happening in front of you, or that are happening and nobody's really looking at you and telling you straight, but rather you will hear another person telling you what's happened between you and another folks. It's just because culturally it doesn't always work in a confrontational way. When I say confrontational way here, it doesn't mean that in Africa or maybe in western part of the world, when you say confrontation, it's like, hey, you did this, let's get into war, let's start fighting. No, it doesn't mean that. It's just that I can give a message to you, and then you are the ones going to manage how you're going to handle my message. But my goal is just to give you the message, and I just suppose that you're big enough to handle the message and whatever comes with that, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you. Let me know what you're thinking about the Hiya culture, or which part of the world are you also applying that Hiya culture, which is a sort of non-confrontational approach. I'm going to be very happy to hear from you guys. So while waiting, road to the 1K, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. We are not really far away from it. Hopefully by December we hit the 1K. Bibala.